can't find nothing on the radio.
You ready, Steve?
Welcome to Songology. He's Bruce,
He's Richard.
and this is another episode from our Song of the Day archives.
Enjoy.
Welcome back, Bruce. Short week, and you're doing bands that didn't make it into
The Hall of Fame. We're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And why not, right?
Yeah.
A terrible, terrible thing. Personally,
Chicago, number one band in so many things, yet not there.
and that was sort of my personal pick as the most egregious omission, but in part because I've been a fan of their music for a lot of years. But when you look at all the stuff that they've accomplished, why aren't they in there?
Yes.
And also because of the particular style, the fact that, okay, they incorporate, just as the Electric Light Orchestra has always had strings, until the very end, the strings kind of dropped away and it was all Richard Tandy synthesizers. But for the classic period, strings were a part of the band.
Yeah.
In Chicago, the horns have always been a part of the band.
Yeah.
And so as a style, very, very unique.
Yes.
And speaking of styles,
Yes.
let's talk about Philly Soul.
Philly
Right.
Soul.
Yes, is a whole school and a whole movement that is really typified, I would suggest, by the Spinners. And these Spinners are also not in the Hall of Fame. Now, strangely enough, to get this piece of classic Philly soul, you actually first have to go to Detroit, or a suburb of Detroit. Yes, a suburb of Detroit called Ferndale.
Okay.
So that's in northern Detroit. Pause to point out that, you remember in the Journey song, Don't Stop Believin', they talk about a city boy born and raised in South Detroit?
Yeah.
There is no South Detroit.
Oh.
There's a river.
Ah.
So just a little bit of useless information. Anyway,
He was
in
born
North
in a
Detroit,
river.
yes, in North Detroit, where there really is a North Detroit, is a place called Ferndale. And in a public housing project called Herman Gardens, there were a bunch of young fellows got together and started to sing together. They originally called themselves the Domingos. They went through a few people came, few people left. Eventually it settled down. And by 1961, they decided they needed a name change. That was also during the time when spinning hubcaps were all the rage. Remember, actually, spinning hubcaps made a bit of a comeback here about 6-8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
I totally missed out on that.
Well, you didn't miss much because it's kind of a silly little affectation. But the spinning hubcap, so it continues to rotate when the car stops. So when you're stopped at a light, your flashy hubcap is still spinning like you're moving.
Okay.
That was a thing in the late 50s, early 60s. And the band, that is, decided, well, we're going to call ourselves the Spinners. So that's where the name came from. They were signed a couple of years later to Motown Records in 1963, but they never really got into the front rank of Motown performers. They were always there, but never really got onto the A-list, so to speak, at Motown. So eventually they were frustrated and they moved to Philadelphia and signed with Atlantic Records.
Right.
Now, at the time, there was a recording studio in Philadelphia called Sigma Sound Studios, and the top guy at Sigma Sound was a guy by the name of Tom Bell. When Atlantic said, okay, we're going to bring in these different acts, they sent Tom Bell a list of people, is anybody here you're interested in working with? And the very last name on the list was the Spinners. But he immediately grabbed that, said, oh yeah, I want them. I've been listening to them since the middle 60s. I want to record them. And so that's where this song came from, was kind of the first big hit for them after they moved to Atlantic. The song is I'll Be Around. It was written for them actually by Tom Bell and an old buddy of his by the name of Phil Hurt. Hurt was doing the lyrics. Bell did the music. So he worked out the melody, said, okay, here's what I want it to sound like, and then delivered the music to Hurt and said, okay, write me something that fits exactly. No pressure, right?
Yeah.
So it actually started out as a B-side of another song that they cut, which was called How Could I Let You Get Away, which I have never heard in my life. And the reason for that, and that is because as soon as disc jockeys flipped this over and give the B-side a try, and they got to hear I'll Be Around, yep, no, that's the one we're playing. And so actually the label went back and reissued it as the A-side.
Uh-huh.
It was number one R&B hit and led to all sorts of big, big songs for the Spinners. According to Tom Bell, though, he said that when he took the arrangement into the studio musicians, because remembering, Spinners just sing. They don't have backing musicians, or
Right.
they're not
Yep.
musicians themselves. They have to
Yep.
have backing musicians. So Bell takes it into the house band at Sigma Sound and says, here you go. And he said they actually laughed at him because the arrangement was so simple. He
Yep.
said they recorded, the whole thing was done in 40 minutes. No problem. So lead vocals is original member of the group Bobby Smith. You get some backing stuff from Philippe Wynne, who wasn't an original member but came in very quickly after. This has been a really, like a song with a lot of legs because they charted with it. It came back. Todd Rundgren produced the group that I've, again, never heard of called What Is This, that managed to squeak onto the charts in 85. 10 years later, there was a rap version that charted. And 10 years after that, in 2005, Hall & Oates covered it. And it charted, squeaked onto the charts for them.
Oh.
So,
Well, it's 10 years later. We should be expecting another version.
there you go. I don't think they'll be expecting it from us, though. So,
Oh.
so going just back to the song for a second, when Phil Hurt sat down to write it, he had really no idea. Okay, what am I going to do? I've got the tune. What does this sound like to me?
Yep.
And he was trying to think of a little scenario, a little story. What story am I going to tell with this? Couldn't really come up with it. But something that Tom Bell had said to him when he gave him the music was just, okay, well, whenever you're done, right, just give me a call because I'll be around.
Yep.
Right. So I'll be around. And then another thing that he said during the conversation was, whenever you call me, I'll be there.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yep.
With just a slight variation of inflection, that became the hook for the song.
Yep.
And away it went. So then now I've got my scenario. This is a love song. This is a kind of a breakup song. But I'll be there for you if you call me kind of thing. And it was a huge song for the Spinners. It's a perfect example of the Philly soul sound from that period of time. And so the Spinners, who have had multiple hits, who have been covered multiple times, inspiration for many, many bands, but they are not in the Hall of Fame.
And as usual, I have to stop her right there due to the wonderful world of fair use rules. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. You can visit us on Facebook or head over to our website, songology.ca. Now, here's your chance to listen to the music or go on to the next episode.